Good morning. This is KELOLAND on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
A Sioux Falls murder suspect may have also been involved in a Mitchell gun heist. 3 men are accused of breaking into Palace City Pawn a year ago and getting away with 15 guns. Court papers say some of those stolen weapons ended up in Chicago.
Now, we came across the state because one of the suspects recently signed a federal document admitting to the crime. When we dug deeper, we discovered another suspect in the pawn shop burglary is 20-year-old Raymond Banks.
If the name sounds familiar, a man with the same name and same birth date is charged with murdering a Sioux Falls pizza delivery driver. The deadly shooting was in February of 2020, but police didn't arrest Banks until that September, more than 3 months after the pawn shop burglary.
A Rapid City police pursuit turned up guns and landed 3 people in jail. An officer tried to pull over an SUV Wednesday morning on the city's north side, but the driver of the vehicle drove off. The officers chased it down a dirt road. Investigators say the suspects discarded multiple firearms before getting out of the SUV and trying to run away.
Police made 2 arrests right away. However, they had to search for the third person who was considered armed and dangerous. Officers found him yesterday afternoon. Earlier this week, we told you about several cars that were damaged in Brookings County after colliding with cattle that had gotten out of their pen. Some even made it to the interstate. So if your car ends up hitting livestock, who pays for the damage? There's no clear-cut answer.
Well, that can depend on the condition of the fencing for the cattle as well as which county the crash happened in. And a KELOLAND.com original by Ray Yost examines lawsuits and opinions in a story right here on our website.
Now let's send it over to Brian Karstens in the Storm Center for a look at this morning's weather. Temps falling following Wednesday's rain, Brian.
Yes, indeed. Fall is in the air, and it looks like we're going to keep these fall-like temperatures for a while. Yesterday, we picked up that rain, and we had a little snow, too. I know at Huron, they had at least a little coating of snow on some of the cars and the buildings. 99 hundredths of moisture, though. That's another interesting item to add to the conversation, as we had quite a bit of rain yesterday, Mobridge eastward toward Aberdeen. Watertown picked up 1.35 inches. Sioux Falls Airport, a little over ½ an inch of rain officially, but you go east of Sioux Falls just a little bit, and it was a lot more into southwest Minnesota. Nobles County is quite wet, and also Rock County, Minnesota. Well, today, bundle up. I think highs here in the upper 40s, low 50s. We're trying to get used to these kind of numbers now with fairly light winds for the vast majority this afternoon. That's a quick look at weather. We'll have the rest of the forecast in just a few minutes.
All right. Thank you very much, Brian. Well, U.S. regulators have approved the booster shots for the Moderna and Johnson & Johnson vaccines. The FDA also says anyone eligible for an extra dose can get a brand different from the one they originally received.
The Centers for Disease Control will consult an expert panel later this week before finalizing official recommendations for boosters. Health officials say as we get closer to the holidays and people plan gatherings, the vaccines are becoming even more important.
South Dakota Voices for Peace is once again hosting a COVID-19 vaccine clinic this week. You can get your shot in the parking lot of the Empire Mall next to JCPenney today, tomorrow, and Saturday.
They'll be offering Moderna and Johnson & Johnson vaccines. If you get your shot, you'll receive $30 as a thank you for keeping the community safe. SDSU students and alumni are celebrating Hobo Week right now. All across campus, you can find students and faculty dressed in their Hobo Day gear and buttons as a way to celebrate the tradition.
Hobo Week also gives alumni a chance to return to campus and relive their time as a college student.
A lot of reminiscing is what we see. Campus has changed a lot over the years, so it's really fun to hear alumni stories from when they were here on campus and their memories, and then also seeing them interact with current students now and being able to share that same common memory of Hobo Day.
The events of the week are all leading up to the homecoming football game against Northern Iowa, which is Saturday at 2 o'clock at the Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium. Well, that's a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get one last look at your weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian?
All right, weather today, well, midday temperatures still in the 40s, and I do expect we'll hold that trend for the duration of the afternoon. Not very warm. A little sun, though, that does make a difference, and as long as the winds aren't quite as strong, which should be the tendency for the vast majority of central KELOLAND today, that's our going trend there. Now, these clouds are Not as thick, but they are showing up tonight, and I do think that does have some implication on temperatures. Of course, when you have more cloud cover at night, you have to remember it's harder to get frost and freeze weather. So for Sioux Falls, we'll kind of watch that. I'll still peg the lows there in the lower to middle 30s. I do think Aberdeen could quickly fall late tonight into the upper 20s. The other little side note, too, there's a compact little, and I want to emphasize, not very big, but a little subtle wave that's moving through. That could bring us a very quick shot at sprinkles or snowflakes, depending on the time of day that this thing arrives. If it hits in the morning, could be cold enough for that in Sioux Falls, just throwing that out there. I do think, though, that whatever forms from that will be fast moving. So even in the afternoon, we could even get some clearing there and mostly sunny skies. Of course, it's not going to be very warm. It's still in the upper 40s and low 50s for highs, and that's going to set up a pretty chilly Saturday morning. Beyond that, maybe some rain coming our way by Sunday as we usher in some slightly warmer trends next week. Let's go to the forecast. 49 today in Mitchell, 47 in Huron. We're looking at this forecast now in mid-50s likely into the weekend. Again, that rain chance on Sunday looking a little bit better, and also another system on Wednesday that could be in the offing here. We're also looking at the Aberdeen forecast, chance of showers on Sunday. And let's continue to watch the forecast for Pierre, also looking at some rain showers Sunday. 60-degree weather next week, I do think, is back. Rapid City, too, should see some nice recovery by Monday, and a high temperature there at 67. More coverage with the weather online at KELOLAND.com, and have a great day.